Cup of English podcast for Paul and Lily.
I want to ask you something. If someone asks you, what do you do in English? Can you answer confidently? Not just I work, but really describe your job, your day, your colleagues, your feelings about your work. Today we teach you exactly how to do that.
Welcome, everyone, to a Cup of English podcast. I'm Lily.
And I'm Paul. And I asked Lily this morning, so what do you do, Lily? Like I didn't know her. And she looked at me for a long moment and said, Paul, we have known each other for 2 years.
He was pretending to be a stranger at 8 in the morning, before I had finished my coffee.
It was a warm-up exercise. Today we are talking about how to describe your job in English. What you do, where you work, who you work with, how you feel about it. Simple, useful, natural English for every situation. Let's go. Right, the basics. Someone asks, what do you do? How do you answer? The simplest way. I work as a, followed by your job title. I work as a teacher. I work as an engineer. I work as a nurse. Clear, simple, done.
Or even simpler, I'm a doctor. I'm a designer. I'm a student. One word after I'm, and you have answered the question.
And if your job is complicated to explain, which many jobs are, you can say, I work in, followed by the area. I work in education. I work in technology. I work in healthcare. You don't need to explain every detail, just the area.
This is actually really useful because sometimes the exact job title is very long or very specific. I work in marketing is much easier than explaining every single thing you do.
I use I work in audio here in LA because when I say my full job title, people's eyes glaze over immediately.
Eyes glaze over. Great expression. It means someone's eyes go unfocused because they are bored or confused. His eyes glazed over when I explained my job.
Within 4 seconds, every time, like clockwork.
Okay, I have a what do you do story. I went through a period where I was doing 3 different jobs at the same time. Freelance writing, some social media work, and I was also helping a friend with her small business on weekends.
That is a lot.
It was a lot. And every time someone asked, what do you do? I didn't know what to say, because the answer was different depending on the day. On Monday, I was a writer. On Thursday, I was a social media person. On Saturday, I was basically a shop assistant.
A different career every day of the week.
So I started saying, I work in content. Very vague. Very LA. And everyone nodded like they understood perfectly. Nobody asked a follow-up question. I work in content is apparently the magic phrase that ends all conversation about jobs in Los Angeles.
I work in content, the conversation stopper.
It works every time. I still use it now, even though my job is much clearer. It is just so easy.
The most efficient job description in history. Okay, more vocabulary. A full-time job. You work the full week, usually 5 days. I have a full-time job in a school. A part-time job. You work fewer hours, maybe 2 or 3 days a week. I have a part-time job while I study. And freelance. You work for yourself, not for one company. You work for different people on different projects. I work freelance as a designer.
Right. Describing where you work. I work in an office. very common. You go to a building and you work there. I work from home. You work at your house, very popular now. And I work outdoors. You work outside. Teachers, doctors, office workers, inside. Builders, gardeners, delivery people, outside. Very different experiences.
I have a work-from-home story. During a period when I was working from home full-time, this was a few years ago, I slowly stopped behaving like a professional human being.
What does that mean?
It happened gradually. Week 1, I worked at my desk, proper clothes, everything normal. Week 2, I moved to the sofa. Still professional clothes on top, pajamas on the bottom, because who would know?
The classic video call outfit.
Week 3, I started having my lunch at 11 in the morning because nobody was stopping me. Week 4, I had a video call with my entire team, and halfway through, I realized I was wearing a jumper with a small jam stain on it.
A jam stain?
From my breakfast, which I had eaten at 10, and I spent the entire second half of that meeting holding a piece of paper in front of the jam stain so nobody could see it.
Holding a piece of paper in front of your jumper for 30 minutes?
Very casually, very naturally, just a man holding a piece of paper in front of his chest for no apparent reason.
Did anyone notice?
My colleague Sarah said at the end, "Paul, why were you holding that paper the whole time?" And I said, "I was taking notes." And she said, "You never take notes." And I said, "I'm trying something new." And she looked at me for a long time and said, "Right."
She knew. She absolutely knew.
She definitely knew and said nothing, which is the most professional thing she has ever done.
Okay, work location vocabulary. An office, a room or building where people work at desks. I go to the office 3 days a week. Remote work, working from a place that is not the office, usually home. I do remote work on Fridays. And a commute, the journey from home to work. My commute takes 40 minutes. We talked about this in our daily routine episode.
Right. Colleagues. The people you work with. A colleague, someone you work with. My colleagues are very friendly. In American English, people often say a coworker, same meaning. My coworker helped me with the project.
And your relationship with your colleagues is so important. You spend more time with your colleagues than with most of your friends. So how they are is a big part of your job happiness.
I have had wonderful colleagues, and I have had less wonderful colleagues. And the less wonderful ones make everything harder.
Tell us about a colleague.
I once had a colleague, lovely man in many ways, but he had one very specific habit that drove me absolutely insane. Every single morning, he would come into the office, make his coffee, sit at his desk, and say out loud, to nobody in particular, "Right, another day, another dollar."
Every morning?
Every single morning. For 11 months, I counted. 231 working days. 231, right, another day, another dollar.
You counted?
By month 3, I was counting. By month 5, I was recording them in a small notebook. By month 8, it had become a kind of dark hobby.
A dark hobby? You were documenting a man's morning phrase.
And the strangest part, nobody ever responded to him. He said it into the air, and everyone just continued working, like it hadn't happened, and he never seemed to mind. He said it with the same enthusiasm every single time. Day 1 to day 231, unwavering.
Did you ever say anything to him?
On his last day, he moved to a different company. I said, "I'm going to miss your morning phrase." And he looked at me completely confused and said, "What morning phrase?" He didn't even know he was doing it.
He had no idea?
231 mornings, completely unconscious. The man was on autopilot since the day he started.
That is one of the funniest things you have ever told me. Okay, I have a colleague story too. My first real office job, I was so excited. First day, new job, new people. And I sat next to a woman called Diane. Very nice, very professional. And I thought, we are going to be great friends.
And were you?
Day 1, wonderful. Day 2, wonderful. Day 3, I discovered that Diane ate the same lunch every single day. The same exact lunch.
What was the lunch?
A cheese sandwich on white bread, an apple, and one plain biscuit. Every day. For the 2 years I worked there.
2 years of the same lunch?
I once said to her, "Diane, don't you want to try something different?" And she looked at me very seriously and said, "I know I like this. Why would I risk it?"
Why would I risk it? That is actually a very logical position.
It is logical. I was annoyed at the time, but now I think Diane was on to something. Diane had zero lunch anxiety. Every day, cheese sandwich, apple, biscuit. Done. No decisions, no disappointment. Pure efficiency.
Diane was a genius.
Diane was absolutely a genius. Okay, colleague vocabulary. To get on well with. To have a good, friendly relationship with someone. I get on really well with my colleagues. A team. A group of people who work together on the same things. I work in a small team of 5 people. And the office atmosphere. The general feeling and mood in your workplace. The office atmosphere is very relaxed and friendly. Okay, talking about how you feel about your job. This is so important because in English conversations, people ask, "Do you enjoy your work?" And you need more than yes or no.
First, positive feelings. I love my job. Simple and powerful. Or slightly less dramatic. I enjoy my work. And a great phrase. I find my work rewarding. Rewarding means your work gives you a feeling of satisfaction, like you are doing something that matters. Teaching is very rewarding work.
And I'm passionate about what I do. You really care about your work. It means a lot to you. I'm passionate about helping people learn English, which is genuinely true for us.
Genuinely true. And for the more difficult feelings, my job is stressful. It causes a lot of pressure and worry. My job can be very stressful at times. Or, I feel burned out. Burned out means you are so tired from work that you have no energy left at all, like a candle that is burned all the way down.
Burned out is a very important phrase right now. Many people feel this way, and it is good to have a word for it. I've been feeling burned out lately. I need a break.
And the question everyone wants to be able to answer confidently, what do you like most about your job? Practice this answer. Have it ready because people ask it all the time.
I have a feelings about work story. I had a job, few years ago, that looked amazing from the outside. Great company, great title, good salary. Everyone said, "Oh wow, you're so lucky," when I told them where I worked.
But
But I was miserable. Every Sunday evening, I felt this heavy feeling, knowing Monday was coming. And I didn't understand why, because everything looked so good on paper.
The Sunday feeling. Very common. Very real.
And I was having lunch with my grandmother, the same wise grandmother from our self-love episode, and she said, "How is work?" And I said, "It's great." Very automatic, very cheerful. And she looked at me over her soup and said, "Is it?"
Just is it?
Just those 2 words, and something broke open in me. And I said, "Actually, no, I'm really unhappy." First time I had said it out loud. And she put down her spoon and said, "Then change it."
Simple advice from a wise woman.
The simplest advice, then change it. And 6 months later, I left that job and started doing what I actually loved. And I have never had the Sunday feeling again.
That is a really important story, because sometimes we need someone to ask, "Is it?" to make us honest with ourselves.
And the English for this, the Sunday feeling, that anxious, heavy feeling on Sunday evening about the week ahead. Very relatable phrase, everyone knows it. To feel fulfilled, to feel that your work is meaningful and satisfying. I want to feel fulfilled in my career. And work-life balance, having enough time for both your job and your personal life. Good work-life balance is really important to me.
Right. Useful phrases for talking about your daily work life. I have a meeting. Very common. I have 3 meetings today. Meetings. The great joy and great curse of office life simultaneously.
Paul has very strong feelings about meetings.
I have been in meetings that could have been an email. I have been in meetings about organizing future meetings. I once attended a meeting whose entire purpose was to decide what time the next meeting should be.
A meeting about a meeting.
45 minutes. To decide on a time. 7 people. 45 minutes.
What time did they decide on?
2 o'clock on Thursday, which is exactly what the first person suggested at the very beginning. The other 44 minutes were apparently necessary for the process.
Democracy in action. Okay, a deadline. The date or time when something must be finished. I have a deadline on Friday. Very important word in any job. To be in charge of. To be responsible for something. I'm in charge of the social media. And to handle. To manage or deal with something. I handle customer questions in my job.
Right. Let's put it all together. A natural, confident description of your job in English sounds like this. I work as a teacher in a primary school. I'm in charge of a class of 20 children. I love my job because it's very rewarding, but it can be stressful sometimes. My colleagues are wonderful, and the atmosphere in our school is really friendly.
Beautiful. Clear, natural, personal. It tells someone your job, your responsibilities, how you feel, and who you work with, all in 5 sentences.
And you don't need a perfect job to give a great answer. Whatever you do, there is interesting English vocabulary for it. And there is always something true and genuine you can say.
Even, I work in content.
Even I work in content. Your challenge today. Write a description of your job in the comments, in English. Use the phrases from today. I work as a, I'm in charge of, I love my job because. We read every single comment and we love hearing about your lives. And subscribe to A Cup of English podcast, free, new episodes every week. We are so happy you are here with us.
See you in the next one.
Cheerio, everyone.
Bye, guys.